part is on setting up events. This is probably one of the easiest way to get new patients into your office. When you look at, well, let's just put it out there. What do you guys think? How do you think the healthcare system is in this country? And do you think it's good, good or no? Broke, not great? Okay, good. So we're on the same page there. So your public is, in corporate America right now, or they're sitting at a desk. And the thing is they're not getting the treatment that they need. They have physical problems, right? And mental and chemical, but they have these issues and they're not really getting a lot of help for them. So, but here's the thing: they're not looking for your offices. When you look at what's currently going on, was it 8% of people see chiropractors? So it's when you have 8% of the population sees chiropractors, it means 92% of the people who have issues. Like let's just put it this way: the number 2 reason why someone goes to the hospital is for what? Back pain, right? They're not going. I mean, it's the number 2 reason why they're going to the hospital. They're not going to your offices, and that's like your wheelhouse. Now, I know you guys do a lot more than just back pain, right? But I'm just using that as an example. So they're not looking you out, and so you've got to figure out ways to actually bring them in. And your pipeline is super important. You want to have this pipeline full of new patients coming in at all times. It takes a ton of pressure off. Like for case managers, if you've got like say 10 case management report final cycles a week, and you need, or let's say you only have 5, but you need 7 or 8 starts a week to get your growth projections in your office, and you only have 5 new patients coming in. What are you thinking? You got to do it with every single person. I've got to start every single person. Now, is that going to happen? Nah. Not everyone's a good fit for your office, or maybe you don't want some of these people, or, maybe they're a non-qual, so you want to have a pipeline full. So from a case management standpoint, if you don't start a few people, it's not a big deal, so it's you want to have at least 10 different ways of bringing new patients in. This is just one way, but the corporate events, I did corporate events for my business, and it went from 100 visits a week to 600 visits a week in about a year and a half, and it was doing 2 to 3 events a week. Okay, so it's something that is not hard to do, and you can literally like have 1 or 2 I ended up having 2 marketing people in my office. One was actually setting up events, qualifying events, and they'd go to the events too. But then I had another person who was actually specialized in scheduling people and making sure that they arrived on time and had follow-up systems in. But I had 2 people in my office when we were doing just events, and we actually ended up doing health fairs. So one of the things right now is, did anyone do events in the past pre-COVID? Do events? Are you doing events now or no? You are now? No? Okay. So you should be getting out there again now doing them. I know for a while you couldn't do them because of COVID, but you should be able to get out there now. One of the ways that actually got us back in was just doing like, vitamin injection events. And there's other ways I'm going to show you how to get in, but it's but vitamin injection events are really successful of actually them opening the door, and then you can bring in whatever you're going to bring in from a scanning standpoint, whether it's a surface CMG, a thermography, checking posture, doing posture raise, whatever that might be. So what we did that was really successful was B12 and Breakfast. This was a really popular event that we did that got us started to get back into corporations. According to a report by Zippia, 83% of employers report increasing their workers' health thanks to their company's wellness programs. In addition, it was reported that the wellness programs have been shown to reduce absenteeism up to 14 to 19%. 84% of the employers reported higher productivity and performance from their employees due to wellness plans. 22 telling employee wellness statistics as in 2023. So it's companies want these types of programs in. And in fact, you can make money doing these types of programs. When we did health fairs, and this is something that we can give you more information on, but when we used to do health fairs, we'd actually charge vendors to go with us. And so we were making $200 to $300 a booth for every vendor that was there. Plus, and then we were also scheduling patients. So not only were we getting patients, we're also getting paid to actually set up the health fair, which would help to pay for the person who is actually doing the events. So you can make this actually a little mini business if you wanted to. B12 and breakfast events were developed during COVID to help healthcare professionals get back into companies and promote immune system boosting. These events are a great way to generate revenue and promote your practice. Offer flyers for IV services like Myers cocktails, immune boosting IVs, and ozone therapy to educate patients on the services your practice offers. How many of you guys are integrated? You have a medical provider? So this is easy to do, with like B12 injections. You can take zinc and vitamin C injections with you, charge for those. B12 though costs like $1. Doesn't cost that much, but you can actually upsell to zinc and C. So it's something to where it can actually pay for your time being there. Worked during COVID and works even better in 2023. So this is a great way just to get in. So obviously there's this decision maker. We're going to go over a couple of things here. One is who in here is part of Doctors for Health and Wellness? Do you guys know what that is? Doctors for Health and Wellness. So what that is, it's a nonprofit organization that the Business Academy started. It's called Doctors for Health and Wellness. And basically you get your own, what do we all get with that? Basically it's a 501(c), but you get business cards and letter templates but basically you can use a .org, a nonprofit, to actually get into companies. So basically when you're calling a company, it kind of looks like this. So like, okay, how many of you have watched like movies from like, not movies, but like, well, yeah, you watch movies, but like castles with moats around them and drawbridges and stuff, you're going back 400 or 500 years, right? So back in the day when a knight would ride up to the castle, how would the castle identify who that knight was? You guys know? Banner. It's the banner they're carrying, right? So if you're going into a business and you're carrying a chiropractic banner, or you're calling a business and you have a chiropractic banner, versus you have a banner that is a nonprofit group that is donating hours to the community from a health perspective, who are they going to let that drawbridge down to? It's not the chiropractor, right? I mean, so by being part of a nonprofit group, you can open those doors much easier. When you're telling them, when you're calling them saying, hey, you're donating so many hours, which you're donating your time to go in there. You can do all kinds of different events, whether that's these B12 and breakfast, whether it's a screening, massage pamper event. It can be a lunch and learn. It's whatever you guys want to do, from a screening standpoint. Okay. So the dialogue for breaking through the corporate gatekeeper is this applies whether you're booking a B12 and breakfast, corporate lunch and learns, corporate health fairs, or employee pamper events. Getting through the gatekeeper is one of the hardest parts of your job. However, we don't have to drop from the ceiling tiles or scuba from the side of the building to get in. We're going to use the Doctors for Health and Wellness, 501(c) nonprofit, and donate hours as a way to get through the gatekeeper, through the decision maker, and hold these events at these large corporate companies. The simplest thing when you approach the gatekeeper is big smile, lots of ARC, affinity reality communication, for those of you who don't know what that is. You have to grant a lot of beingness and importance to the gatekeeper. Otherwise, they'll just shoo you away. But when you grant them a lot of importance, it makes them feel better, warm and fuzzy inside, and they're going to be willing to talk to you and willing to help you out. So you're asking for help when you call. Hey, I was wondering if you could help us out. I was calling because we're part of a nonprofit group, Doctors for Health and Wellness, and we have to give 20 hours in the next 30 days to maximize our membership. And so we wanted to send over a couple of massage therapists to your office to do some pampering for the day. How many employees do you have? Or who do I need to speak to? Get to the gate. Who do I need to speak to actually set that up? It becomes really easy to set things up using that type of a language. Example script. Hi, I'm Gary from the Doctors for Health and Wellness. Is Kathy able to talk to her about your upcoming B12 and breakfast event for your employees? Go for the assumptive close. This is in this case, if you know the HR manager's name, Kathy. Now, if I don't have the HR manager's name, you can say, hey there, I'm Gary from the Doctors for Health and Wellness. Who do I need to talk to regarding setting up your upcoming B12 and Breakfast event for your employees? Another, you're assuming that you're going to get in, right? Who's in marketing again? Is this exciting? Good stuff? I mean, it'll get you in. It will get you in. I mean, it's like, especially like, for instance, for those of you who are doing insurance, is it warm in here or is it just me? Yeah. Maybe not a bad thing. I need to lose some weight. You will grow your practice significantly with this type of stuff. Just getting out in the community. Outflow equals inflow. You should always remember outflow equals inflow. The more you outflow, the more you communicate with your environment, the more people are actually going to come into you. Okay. Hi, I'm Gary from the Doctors for Health and Wellness. We are a 501c3 local nonprofit. I was just dropping by because we're offering complimentary B12 shots and breakfasts for local companies and employees as part of our wellness outreach initiatives. Who would I speak to touch base in regards to this? Or would that be you? So it's always use like an assumptive type like close. How many of you have massage therapists in your office? You want to get the massage therapist booked? I mean, do massage pamper events. You go in and you actually do the same type of script. Hey, it's Gary from Doctors for Health and Wellness. We're a nonprofit organization, and we've got 60 more hours that we have to donate. And so we have a bunch of massage therapists we'd love to send to your office to pamper your employees. What day and time works best for you? Just assume it. Now, as an employer, what's that going to sound like? It's going to be like, a lot of times they're like, hey, I want to just give back to my employees. Free massages? No brainer.
If something is free, you are the product.
What's that?
Something is free, you are the product. Nothing is free.
Well, elaborate. Well, explain your statement.
And you tell me, hey, we do like free massage for employees.
Yeah.
If it's a good manager or owner, you will understand that if they provide something free, they want you in their office or in their company. Just understand. But it's like someone who they will go.
Yeah. And when you're doing it from a nonprofit standpoint, the defenses go down. They're not going to be as speculative on like, should we let them know? What do they want out of this kind of thing, right?
Yeah. So if it's a manager and they know like
mm-hmm. Yeah. These work great. Okay. Once you have the decision maker in front of you, you reintroduce yourself. I was just dropping by because we're offering complimentary B12 shots and breakfast for local companies as part of our wellness outreach initiatives. Pause, let them respond. If they want to know more or are interested, you can state a number of local businesses are taking advantage of this to help provide health and wellness services for their employees. Increase energy and can help fulfill an employee wellness requirement for your business. We offer our medical team and nurse to your business, and provide a B12 and other vitamin injections, as well as breakfast to help your employees stay energized and focused and throughout the day. We have about 12 hours left in the quarter to donate. We need to fill and volunteer hours in the next 30 days. How many employees do you have? Get their answer and determine how much time you need. Okay. Now, I don't know if we get into this here later, but what we used to do is have a Google document that had a sign-up sheet. So once we were scheduled to go, we'd actually send the contact person the Google document to sign up so we could actually see people who are scheduling. Then I would know how many people I actually need to take to employ that event. Okay. And, how many massage therapists. I think massage therapy, like massage pamper events are really good. The B12 stuff is great. It can help to get in the door, especially during COVID. But now that people don't have as much of an issue of, the whole distancing thing. You guys ever watch, what's his name? Brewer. He's the comedian. Do you guys know? Who is it? Jim Brewer. You ever watch his skit on COVID? Like 6 foot safe, 5 foot danger. Yeah, that type of stuff. It's just hilarious. You got to see it. Anyway, but since there's that personal contact, distance is not a big issue anymore. you can get back in with massage therapy. But what that does is it helps to bring in people to get exams, right? But also they if you do have massage therapists in your office, and they like the massage therapist, you can have like a massage club going or something like that, and you can build up your massage business. Okay. Great. So for those that are interested, we would need about 3 hours to take care of your entire team. The only catch is if we do bring breakfast, you need to know any dietary restrictions to ensure everyone can enjoy it. We have blank day and blank day open. Which day would work best for you? We can do, that time slot and whatever, which would work best for you or your team. Continue with scheduling the event and providing an necessary trifolds and packets for the event. So the other thing is follow-up is key, right? So how many contacts typically does it take to actually schedule someone or something? What do you guys think? 7, it's a good number. It's like 5 to 12 contacts typically. So I want you to just think that if you call one time and you don't get a response, don't worry about it, right? You want to have a good CRM so that you're following up. And once you do get someone, you can create a workflow. You can have emails that are already done that you're sending out on a weekly basis. And the great thing about that is right now, like they may not want an event now, but let's say 3 or 4 months from now, let's say the executive in the office tells their office manager, hey, we need to do something for the staff. And if you're continually in communication with them, who are they going to think of? They're going to say, oh, I'm going to call, Doctors for Health and Wellness. They do events, right? So you want to continually outflow. All right, Doctors for Health and Wellness, sign up for Doctors for Health and Wellness. So basically, there's a bit.ly link right there. You can take a picture of that, or you should have these slides from Cindy. But basically, it's just a sign up sheet for these for Doctors for Health and Wellness. It's now here's the thing: we don't make any money on this, but I believe it's like $100 for a year for it to be a member. This is actually sign up for Doctors for Health and Wellness. You get a whole package of information on how you operate as a nonprofit that can help you get into some of these businesses in your area. Okay, now totally worth doing. Even if you just did 1 or 2 events a month. I mean, how many of you guys are like how many businesses do you guys have around you guys? Tons. Yeah. I mean, you can do apartment complexes, condo complexes. You can go chamber events. You can go to, any type of other nonprofit events that are going on. You can offer your services. Doing this script and being part of the Doctors for Health and Wellness will open a ton of doors for you. And so you'll definitely increase your outflow and bring a ton of people into your office. And, we have, I don't know if we don't have it in here, I'll review it a little bit, but I'll go over some of the scripting when you're actually at an event that increases your show percentage quite a bit. Okay, following up in case they don't schedule. Any questions so far? Making sense? Okay, how many events do you guys do right now? Let's start here. A lot. I know you guys do a lot. You have a whole crew for events, right?
No,
No?
we just help out and we have marketers that we go.
So the marketer sets them up and then the staff just goes, and then are you guys getting bonus for every new patient you schedule? What about if they show up?
I mean, like they usually leave like a promotion that goes out like to them, like exam consult, X-rays, $5.
Yeah.
Or go to like $50.
Yeah.
Discount at a price for them to get in.
Good. Do you guys do events over here? Yeah. What do you guys do?
Right now it's like twice.
Mhm.
Like for us, we do the fair, the county fair, like so that's like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
February.
Yeah.
February.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah. Good. Over here, I saw some hands up. Events? No? Okay. Yeah. It's just another tool. If you look at all the different ways to bring patients in, whether it's social media, it's SEO, Google AdWords, YouTube videos, TikTok, Facebook ads, lectures, events, a referral program. I mean, personal injury, professional referrals. I mean, here's the thing: if you do not, well, you guys, who's in Florida here? What just happened to the PIP laws? They change. Here's what happened in Colorado. Like back in 2003, the PI laws changed drastically, and we had like anyone that was just practicing PI and that's all they were doing, close their doors the next day. So you don't want to, if you love living here, right? You don't want to have just one flow of new patients, right? You want to have 8 to 10 different flows. So if someone turns off one flow, you still have, you're not being affected by it. Okay. So you want to like expand your consciousness a little bit on how you bring in, patients. TV, radio. Yeah. I do a lot with radio, TV as well. So if you're integrated, you might spend more money, right, to bring in those higher value cases. But it's just, again, it's just all comes down to, you should have this ingrained in your mind. Outflow equals inflow. The more I outflow, the more that's going to inflow. And typically from a business perspective, you're looking at 10, 15% of your gross income should be thrown into marketing, just to keep on planting seeds out there. All right, 9 times out of 10, when you touch base with a decision maker, they are not going to be able to make a decision right then and there. And that's when follow-up is so key. Get all their information and start the email drip process, start the phone call and the texting process with that decision maker over the course of the following days, weeks to set up that event. What kind of CRM do you guys use? You see like your contact, was it resource management system, whatever? You guys use one? High level? Okay. HubSpot's an example of one, or Infusion, or so I'm throwing that out there just because when you get into this game and you're setting up events and you are you're cultivating leads, right? You want to take notes on them. You want to put them in a system where you're taking notes. When did you call them last? You want to create workflows so that you can see what emails I sent to them, what texts did I send to them. You can really cultivate that relationship. Okay. All right. But if you do have somebody who's ready to make a decision, schedule them for a time, confirm it with them, then let them know you're going to send them the follow-up email to confirm them for it. Get the exact times, the exact dates, and let them know how excited you are to serve their employees and look forward to your phone call and email to confirm the details. Following up with the decision maker if they don't schedule. Fortune is in the follow-up, email, phone calls, drop-ins, gifting. These are all ways you can follow up with the decision maker. So some of you might be thinking, like if you're setting up events, I need to hire, some of you are thinking, I need to hire someone to actually do this. Because do you have time to do it as the doctor? Typically not, right? So there's a lot of things that a marketing liaison person can do. It's just not events. Like if the personal injury game is still decent enough, they can also be trained up to be your attorney liaison. They're going out there and introducing themselves to attorneys and cultivating relationships. Okay. But well worth it to have someone on the line that's doing this kind of work for you. Okay. Gifting follow-up is really, really effective and very important as part of the follow-up process. You might bring in the HR director's favorite coffee from Starbucks, or have a small gift basket for the office directed to the HR director saying, hey, Kathy, this is you. This is for you and your team. I'm looking forward to working with you for your B12 and Breakfast event coming up. Follow up. So another thing that you can do if you want to get into medical offices, besides hospitals, urgent care centers, which you have your personal injury cases going there, or just your family medical doctor. Your family medical doctor, what are they seeing all day long? They're seeing musculoskeletal conditions all day long. What does a primary care do typically? They're referring, or they're writing a script, right? They're writing a prescription, right? They don't, because what they do doesn't really work great. They know that. So why not educate that a medical practice? If you looked at every medical practice within a 5-mile radius of your office, and you did drop-ins with donuts or cookies or whatever, whatever that might be, and you just take 5 or 10 minutes to educate the staff, it's not the doctor that's referring most of the time, it's the staff. Okay. So that's a great way to actually just cultivate, get your name out there in the community. Okay. Here's your event sign-in sheet. So there's a bit.ly link for this. Once the event is booked, send over the event sign-up sheet to the decision maker. This will be used for the employees to sign up for their injections ahead for arrival to your event. Great to have like a live document so you can, again, see who's scheduling. Because guess what you can do? If you see that sheet that's fairly blank, what can you do? Just follow up. Hey, I'm noticing that there's not many people signed up for the event. What's going on? You know, how can we get more people signed up for it? Okay, you can drive it more. You can also, part of this is you can also create like an electronic scheduling tab on this as well, where you can actually schedule people instead of just writing it down. You could, if you have internet access. The only issue is when you go into companies, sometimes they have restricted internet access, and that you always want to have a backup. So a good way to schedule people when you're at the event is to look at the next week, grab an envelope, put paperwork in it, and on the front of the envelope, just write the date and the time that you have available, and have them out on the table so that when you're scheduling someone, you can just have them pick which one works best for them. You just write the date and time, their name down, and they've got the paperwork. Okay, really fast and efficient. In fact, when we've done the health fairs, I think our record was we scheduled 50 people in about 55 minutes. But you know that you're set. You know, it's locked and loaded though, right? That was actually a health fair, and we had a greeter. We had someone that was, we were using a Surface EMG, so we were scanning. We had a closer, and then I had people blocking the doors, you know, and we do that at Lunch and Learns. I'll discuss that here in just a little bit. But I actually prefer the paper scheduling over this just because it can be more efficient and faster than to sit there and type someone's name into the computer and make sure that it's saved, and where I can just give them an envelope and write their name down and the time, and it's done. All right, stations at the event, upsells and offers. Any questions so far? We're kind of blazing through it. Is it making sense? Okay, good. Now it's time to set up the event. Ideally, you would want to have 2 employees and your nurse, but you can do it with an employee and a nurse and combine it in the roles and stations. So station 1 is the greeter who handles all the stress surveys. So when you go to an event, you want the person to fill out a stress survey. You want to get data. I'll show you a copy of that here in a little bit. You're just getting information on what's going on with them. Station 2 is for the screening and the scheduling for the offer. And station 3 is for the injections and upselling to any other, or to upselling to other injections. Again, this is if you're doing a vitamin event. Your upsells would be vitamin C or zinc. You know, what you're giving away for free is B12. You can upsell patients with vitamin C and zinc injections to increase revenue and opportunity at station 3 before their B12 shot. Provide breakfast burritos or other food items to make the event more appealing. Don't forget the coffee. Okay. So stations at the event, upsells and offers. Station 1 is a greeter who handles all the stress surveys. Okay. So basically, they know why they're coming in, right? They've already signed up, you know, to get an injection. Now, when we do B12 and breakfast events, we're also bringing screening equipment. We don't necessarily say we're doing that. We bring other stations. They're coming in knowing that they're going to get a B12 treatment, but we're also going to do, like, for us, we do a thermal scan. We just do a spinal scan. And so when they come up, we just say, hey, you know, just fill out the survey. Let us know what's going on with you. They never question it. They just fill the survey out and they just ask them a few questions off the survey. Okay. We'll review that here in a second. Station 2 is for the screening and the scheduling for your offer. Station 3 is for the injection. So we always get them to do a survey, screen them. I'll schedule them before they ever get their treatment for the day. Okay. So an example scripting for the greeter, station 1, the greeter script should focus on identifying the attendees, his most significant problem in room, have them fill out the stress survey and waiver for the B12 injection. So it looks something like this. Hey there, I'm Gary. Nice to meet you. I'm going to have you fill out this brief survey and waiver for today. Looks like you've been dealing with headaches. Wow, that's tough. How often do you get them? Twice a week. That's terrible. Did you know that neck issues are the cause of headaches since the nerves in your neck connect to the head, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So how that would look is you're just getting into two-way communication. You're just looking at the survey. So if we were looking at the survey, I would just be like, okay, which one of these bothers you the most? They've checked off. If they say it's headaches, as in this example, you want to acknowledge it appropriately. I'm sorry to hear that you had those going on. How often are you getting those? What do most patients do when they are talking about their problems? Do they maximize things or they minimize things? They minimize things, right? So what they'll do is like, oh, I only get them, a couple times a week. Oh, wow. You want to acknowledge that appropriately. That's not good. Twice a week. That's, how long's that been going on? If they say it's been going on for a couple of years, you want to maximize it. So, wow, a couple times a week for 2 years, that's a lot. You've had over 100 headaches in 2 years. It's horrible. So you want to maximize, make that number because what happens is people are, when someone's had a problem for a while, what typically happens to them? They get numb to it. Yeah, they're numb to it, right? It's kind of like they just they get used to it. It's kind of like pictures in your house. How many of you walk by the same painting or picture in your house that you've had up on the wall for 3 or 4 years? You don't even recognize it anymore. It's just part of the environment, right? So people's conditions are very similar. They just tend to adapt. Okay, and also, we mentioned numb over here. People get more numb. So as people get numb, what's another thing that numbs people? Medication. Yeah, medication numbs people. So, what percentage of the population is on medication? Someone said a shit ton. Was that just my head? I thought I heard that in here. Yeah, so it's people are numb to what they have going on. So it's you got to increase their awareness, for them to show up in your office for an exam. And the other thing is when they've gone into get help from someone, if someone's just writing them a script and they haven't been helped, are they more or less likely to go down that path? Or they don't think they can be helped? How many of you are in an office situation where they come to you and they go, and you're the last resort? They've been everywhere else before, right? That's really common, right? Okay. So going back to the script, it would be, wow, so you've had, over 100 headaches in the last couple of years. It's horrible. What do you do for that when you get them? Oh, I take Advil. Oh, wow. How many do you take? I take 4 at a time. Wow. That's not good. Put appropriate pauses in there. It's so you've been taking 4 Advil every time you get a headache, or you take more often? Oh, I take it as a preventative measure. I take 4 a day. You see what I'm saying? You'll hear these types of things from people, right? So if you're taking 4 a day, we got a problem, right? We're going to do a liver analysis right now, and we're going to, but my point with that is you got to change their state. Okay. Now, once I get a little bit of information, then it's just an easy handoff to the person who's going to do whatever you're going to do, whether it's a massage, a scan, whatever it might be. Let's say you're doing a massage pamper event. I would just be like, hey, so I would introduce them to the massage therapist. I'll tell the massage therapist what's going on. And I'd say, please focus on their neck and upper backs. They're getting 2 headaches a week for the last 2 years. See what you find in that area. Just passing on the information. The massage therapist should be trained at palpating the area and actually pushing into the tight and sore areas. If you're a massage therapist or a chiropractor, it doesn't take much to feel someone and know they got a problem, right? Push into those areas just a bit to where they notice it and have some discomfort, some pain, and just let them know, hey, that's not normal. Okay, keep doing the massage. Every once in a while, you find a trigger point or adhesions, push into it. Not normal. You feel this? Okay, it should. Does it feel the same as over here? Let them see the differences, right? You're again increasing awareness. Now, when it's a massage therapist, I've always trained my massage therapists to just be like, listen, they would state to the patient, listen, you got a lot going on. I don't know exactly what it is. It's either a bone, muscle, nerve, or disc problem. Okay. But if you could find out what's going on, would you want to? Okay. So it's a true statement. You haven't done an exam. You haven't taken any x-rays. I don't know what it is, but it's probably it's either a bone, muscle, nerve, or disc issue. Okay. Now, there's a few reasons why I say that as well. It's number one, it's a true statement, but also you're creating a mystery. I understand when you create a mystery, it brings people in. Okay. It draws them in when they, so when I say, hey, if you could find out what's causing this, would you want to? And when they say yes, guess what I know? I know that there's a 92% chance in my office they're walking through the door for the exam. Okay. These scripts helpful? Okay. Okay. Yes, sir.
So the massage pampering.
Oh, hold on. Did you ever watch that game, that Gopher?
So with the massage pampering events, I mean, you're going out, you're doing the nonprofit. I mean, how much would you say a percentage is generated back to the business? Like, what is the most you've seen since doing, or
I'm trying to follow you.
meaning like if you do, let's just say you do a massage pampering event twice a month.
Okay.
I mean, what is generated back?
To
Like,
business?
yeah.
Okay. Let's just run the numbers.
Mhm.
Let's just make it really easy. In my office, back then, when I was doing these, it's probably about a $4,000 to $5,000 case value. Let's say a $5,000 case value. If I just brought in 10 people and I had a really crappy starting percentage, if I started 5 patients on care, it'd be 25,000 per event that I'd be bringing in. Now multiply it by 4 events a week, 2 events a month, 3 events a month, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Everyone's a little, those are just averages, but your return's super high. Like for me, I went from, 100 visits a week to 600 visits a week in a year and a half to 2 years to doing events, and I went from having, 2 staff to, eventually hiring associates, pushing me out of adjusting patients to eventually I hired case managers to push me up and out of case management to where next thing, I was working on the business instead of being in it. Does that make sense? So it massively can expand your organization. Again, it's all about dialing this in, and it's all about outflow, getting out there. Because the thing is the people in your communities have problems.
Mhm.
Especially like what's the average worker do? Computer work, right? They're sitting. We don't have. I wish we'd have brought that one up. It's not queued up for today, but we have a presentation on like smoking or sitting's the new smoking kind of thing, or stay fit where you sit. And most people are sitting. So ergonomic lunch and learns are a massive success. Just talking on ergonomics.
And would you be able to do the same thing with like chiropractic? Like let's say a Saturday, just kind of give out adjustments to the community?
It's not a bad idea. The only thing is, what I suggest is people don't really know what chiropractic is. Like chiropractic's not it's branded for back pain,
Mhm.
but my recommendation is you always market conditions. Always market conditions. Okay. So it's does that make sense? Yeah. It's because the thing is if people want to go to chiropractors, they would be. We wouldn't be stuck at 8% of the population. They need us. They just don't know they need us. So we have to educate. You guys are in the education game. You have to educate your public. You can just put on the chair. Thanks. Appreciate it. Just got to educate your public. Yes.
So.
Yeah.
Are there certain conditions? There are certain things. So what conditions?
Yeah. I would always look at symptoms like back pain, neck pain, headaches. I would look at sciatica. I would look at stress. You know, you can do stress. You can do, boosting energy, conditional or symptom related type like stuff. Yeah.
A little bit from the question. We're Florida, Florida. When I started there, we only saw 75 patients a week. I'm sorry, 75. Yeah, it was this small, 150 patients a week.
Yeah.
And then I started doing a lot with the school board.
Yep.
So we worked with the schools, and if they allowed us to come in, we would do a day of pampering for their teachers, or we'll come back another month and do the office staff. That generated for us where we would do one 15-minute massage for them at, just kind of a pampering thing.
Mhm.
Those teachers would come back, bring teachers who didn't
Yep.
sign up for the event, who would then sign up for care, who would then sign up for everything. And we're at about 350 patients now,
Yep.
just from doing community events
Yep.
like that. So
Excellent.
it definitely works.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Yeah, it works fantastic, guys. It's like, it's, if I had to build a business quickly, like if I was starting from scratch, the first thing I would do is 4 to 6 weeks before I opened, I'd go door to door. Introduce myself to the community. I had a good friend that did that 20 years ago, and it was at 400 patient visits a week in 6 weeks. Just went door to door. Introducing himself, hey, I'm Dr. Gary. I'm opening an office on the street. Here's what I specialize in this. If there's anything I can do for you, please let me know. And just would give him a little something, and just went and hit thousands of doors before he opened. And then I would do events. I'd find out. I'd go into I'd Google any events coming up, street fairs, festivals, you name it, chamber events. I'd look up every business, that has 50 employees or more within 5 or 10 miles of my location. And I would start reaching out to businesses and doing these types of events. You got to go get it. They're not going to come in to see you. You're not going to open up your door, you put your name on the door, and magically you're going to start seeing people. It just is, I mean, some people, I guess, have that magnetism. I don't know, but I don't. I mean, you got to get out there and cultivate it and take it. Okay. Okay, so let me go back to just a script if it was a massage pamper event. So how many, so you're getting, so the massage therapist in this case says, I don't know quite what it is. It's either bone, muscle, or nerve or disc issue. But if you could find out what's going on, would you want to? And they're going to be like, yeah. The massage therapist they're looking at them as a professional, right? They take them to the closer and they just they bridge it to the closer and just say, hey, listen, so, Mrs. Jones here has headaches, and she's had them for, a couple times a week for a couple of years, and definitely feeling a lot of tightness across the base of the neck and the shoulders. We're finding trigger points here and here and here, and touch them when you're talking, and they'd like to find out what's going on. And as a closer, I'd just be like, listen, so, what we do is we've donated part of this nonprofit. We've donated so many hours, for someone to come and get checked out. It's a very thorough exam. So, I don't, if you could find out what's going on, would you want to? I'd say it again. Yes. Perfect. What works better for you? Always give 2 options. Earlier in the week, later in the week. Like, they say earlier, it's Monday or Tuesday. They pick the day, and then you say, 8 or 9, right? Give them 2 options. Once they choose it, then it's like, hey, this is your lock-in close. You state, is there any reason why you couldn't make this appointment? It will increase your show rate by 20%. Okay. And what I'd sprinkle on top of that when they're about ready to leave, to say, promise me you're going to make it. Our providers are super busy. We want to make sure that, you're taken care of, kind of thing. I mean, but just, I'm telling you, it's a 2 to 4 minute script with someone, and you'll have a high show rate with those types of scripts. Okay. So going back to the B12, I know you're here for your B12 injections today, but we do have a screening available here that measures nerve impulses in your muscles. If your headaches are related to your neck, we can identify if through the screening, would you like to try it? Great. Let me introduce you to the person who will be conducting the screening. Their name is Gary. Have pamphlets on your services at all your stations. Okay. So now we're kind of going back and forth between a pamper and doing like a B12, or you're doing it like a scan. Anyone here use like a subluxation station or a mile vision? You're using one of those. I like computers too. It's like people like bells and whistles, right? Especially when you turn the speakers on and it says G12, L1. It's like, so the computer's talking to them, and it's showing colors and stuff like that. So if I was doing if I scan someone like a thermal scan, on the mile vision, at least it shows colors, right? Has white is normal, green is mild, blue moderate, red's more severe. So I just would always like make it light, like scan them. Then I'd be like, whoa, man, you look like a Christmas tree. Check this out. White is normal. I mean, green's mild, blue moderate, red's more severe. Look at how severe you are right here. And where was your problem? Many times it correlates, right, to what they have going on. And then you right away say, listen, I don't know what's causing this. Okay, so now why? Now I'm going to say, why am I saying I don't know what's causing it? Mystery. Who's the most curious people in the world? What's that? What do you guys think about? The most curious people in the world are who? Kids. They're called what? Terrible twos. Where's the socket? They want to find out. That never leaves any of us. We're all curious. When there's a mystery and you don't know something, it pulls you in. It's like a magnet. So when I say I don't know what's going on with you, it could be a muscle, bone, nerve, or disc problem. But if you could find out, would you want to? Guess what? It pulls them in. Yes. Oh, Mike, can you hand the mic back there, please?
So basically about what you're saying, isn't it that a little bit too, like, I don't know, like scary, or like to put the patient in, oh my God, what I have, or like at a low state, putting people in mystery?
I'm going to tell you that most people are below, like when you look at the emotional tone scale and you see where like fear is and stuff, many people are in apathy. Like they don't want to do anything about their condition. I understand what you're saying. Here's the thing. I would rather jolt them a bit because they're not doing anything. It's because the fact of the matter is that when you have a degenerative spine, or you have a spine that's not moving well, or a joint that's not moving well, or you have muscular imbalance, your condition is going to worsen. What percentage of the time, everyone? 100% of the time. The body breaks down if it's not functioning properly. So what we've conditioned in this society to do is basically, we're going to cover that up. We're going to mask it with pain. We're going to numb you, and so that you can keep doing what you're doing, but your body's going to keep rotting inside. That's what we're doing. And so you got to wake them up, because if they don't do something about it, what's going to happen is they're going to be 60, 70, 80 years old, living the life of their grandparents that they never wanted to live, decrepit and not being able to function very well. And that's what's happening at a high degree. So I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying it from this perspective. I want to shock and awe.
Okay.
Right? Because it's like and I'll do it in a way that they can experience it. Like I'll be friendly, but at the same time, listen, what's your name?
Mandy.
Mandy. Do you have anything going on health-wise?
Yeah, back problem.
Back problems? How long have you had it?
5 years.
5 years. How often do you notice it?
Every day.
I'm sorry to hear about that. So in 5 years, every single day, you notice something. Like on a scale of 1 to 10, what's it feel like? Like 10 being bad, 1 being like it's no big deal.
It's okay, but it bothers me when I work out.
Bothers you when you work out?
Yeah.
But you notice every day. So 365, so 2,000 times. So over 2,000 times, your back has told you that there's something wrong with it in the last 5 years. When are you going to start listening to your body?
I am. I'm getting treated.
You are getting treated. Good. So then depending on where they're getting treated, I'll be like, so what kind of treatment are you doing? And how long have you been going? Because there's different types of treatment out there, right? And I would actually dissect it. My point is that you've got to increase their awareness. You've got, because, or else they're not going to do anything, or if I'm going somewhere and I'm not getting all the help I could get, which is really common, it's why not try something different?
Okay.
Does that make
Makes
sense?
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I look it up here?
Sure.
Realize too, you can't diagnose them at a CrossFit event.
No.
You can't diagnose the patient at a company that you're doing a corporate event at. Meaning, you don't know. You actually don't know if you can't help them, or you don't know what the cause is, because it could be, Dr. Garrett, you said it could be a bone, disc, muscle, tendon issue. It could be any one of these things. And the biggest mistakes I think doctors or marketers do in the field when they're doing events is they'll do a day one on somebody at a CrossFit gym. They don't have their equipment. You don't have imaging. You're not doing a full history. You don't have your staff there. So the idea is you want to be able to give them something to let them know, cool, okay, they might be of value to me. And yeah, now I'm a little curious to see if they can actually help me. And now I kind of had a little jolt. I probably should look into this.
Yeah.
So it's just enough to actually allow them to get the full exposure of a full diagnosis. And then obviously, like we went over earlier today, like on that first 5 minutes of the new patient appointment, you set the intent as a doctor. We do that little walk-in.
Yeah.
If we can help you, great. But if we can, I will refer you to somebody that I trust as a specialist. I can help you out.
Yeah.
Right. So that's key for
Yeah. Also on your point that, hey, I'm getting treatment, I'd be like, well, like for me, I know we do regenerative medicine. So it's kind of like, you may not be getting the kind of treatment that we can do. Right. And so we might be able to help more than where you're going currently. But the whole point is it's a little touch, it's increased awareness, it's increase their awareness to where they actually come in to get checked out. And it comes down to the fact that, like, I know, like, okay, let's put it from this perspective. And I just want to give you a little bit more on this so that you know where I'm coming from on it. Because I look at you guys have a responsibility to get out there and do these things, a duty, an obligation, because at the end of the day, like, how many people are dying a year from opioids? Right. And what's the number one condition that an opioid is prescribed for? Back pain, right? It's back pain. Okay. Now, has everyone seen Dope Sick in here? You haven't seen it, go see Dope Sick, right? What did the pharmaceutical company used to say? Only 1% addiction. It wasn't 1%. In fact, we know that if you're on an opioid, every day for 30 days, you have a 33% chance of being addicted a year later. There's 87,000, supposedly, I think it's more than this, 87,000 people that died last year from opioids. I think it's a lot higher than that. They don't look at the secondary effects. Now, I want you to put that in perspective to this. How many people have died in every single war since the Vietnam War? Vietnam, Korean, Vietnam, you had Iraq, you had Afghan, you had all the other military. Like, do you know how many soldiers have passed away during that time frame, during 60 years of wars? 115,000, give or take several hundred. Now you have 87,000, it's higher than that, in a year. This is a major catastrophic problem. It's not getting worse. In fact, what do they do to solve the problem? Let's just create another prescription called Narcan. So we're going to put that over the counter so that you can actually take that if you're having a side effect to the opioid to try to save your life. We're going to put that over the counter. They're not talking about taking it off. What's worse than that, what's just as good as an opioid for pain control? You guys read any of this? It's just your Advil Tylenol. Just as effective. So my point with this is I know that when I go out into the public and I'm meeting with someone, it could be the difference between their life, their livingness, or lack thereof. So I'm okay to push their buttons a little bit. I really am, and I don't mean it to be offensive. I just know that, like, this is their opportunity. I could be their opportunity that could alter their life for the rest of their life. And if you guys have that mindset, you see how you could schedule a ton of people? Because you're literally out there saving lives. Case managers, you're saving lives. Front desk, you're saving lives. It's just not the provider saving lives. It's everyone in the office is saving someone's life, because basically you're doing it from a natural perspective. You're getting their body to function better. They're avoiding taking a prescription. They're avoiding potentially having surgery. The most dangerous place on the planet is a hospital. And that's just a fact. Okay. I mean, How many of you trust the health community less post-COVID? Everyone's like, right? Right? So I'm just saying that, like, I'm okay to push the buttons a little bit. I'm not doing this to be liked. I'm doing this to make an effect. I'm doing this to help people, because at the end of the day, your abundance comes down to the number of people you serve. I don't care what position or job you have. The number of people you serve, it comes back to you. You guys have all heard what you give is what you get. So the more you give, the more you get. Does that make sense? Okay. So it's I didn't mean to get off on a tangent there, but I mean, it's good. I'm glad you asked that question, because when you teach this stuff, after a while, it kind of gets a little bit dry, and it's just like you're just kind of going through the motions. But at the end of the day, why are we doing it? We're doing it to actually help people. You got to have the purpose. Exactly. You got to have the purpose. Just like as a case manager, your empathy. Need to take a break at 3. I'm sorry. I thought it was 3:30. Thank you for letting me know. Everything starts with purpose. Purpose supersedes everything, And so when you start off with a high level of purpose, then it's then your effect, the results that you guys get are going to be tenfold. Okay. So case manager, what's your valuable final product? What's your purpose? As a front desk person, what's your purpose? What's your valuable final product? As a provider, as the doctor, what's your valuable final product? You got to know what those things are, like so granular, so detailed, knowing what your beingness is. And I'm going to end with this, because I guess we got to take a break. Your beingness, if I take, and for the providers in here, you may have seen this before, but if I take a chiropractor seeing 400 visits a week, okay, in this office, and I take this office where a chiropractor is seeing 150 a week, and if I were to take these two people and unplug them and move them to the offices, the guy or gal that goes into the 150 that's seeing 400 is going to build that practice up like that, because their beingness is at that 400 level. That person who is seeing, 150 goes into a 400, and they're going to tank that office, because it's their knowledge base, but it's what's in here. It's their beingness. Does that make sense? So we want to work on our beingness of who we are in our positions, whether it's front desk, case manager, provider. Start with the why and the purpose, and then things just kind of take off. Okay. All right. So we're going to.
Keep going. Start with the confusion. Keep riffing, Gary. You're on a roll.
All right. So you're a step ahead of them. All right. Any questions on that? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Purpose driven, big office, big impact, and it helps everybody. Like, when you look at the doctors here in the room, they got into chiropractic to help and serve people and to love people and to help as many people as they possibly could. And it's they want to have a bigger impact. But I can tell you, as a business owner and as a chiropractor, the staff who are productive in helping me with my vision and mission, guess what? They always got paid more, and they always got bonused more. They had more opportunity, because what's that? It's a big game. Yeah, it's a big game. And I want everyone to win, because if my staff are winning, then I'm winning. So my intention is, like, you guys, like, I want you to realize, like, to be sitting in this room where you have owners who have, some of you have flown in, some of you drove in, but they're investing in your future to learn this stuff. They're investing in you so that you can have a bigger, brighter future, because you should be getting paid based on some type of base pay plus commission, and bonused out based on your production. And that's very important to do that, because your morale is based on production. You guys know that, right? Production is the basis of morale. I tell you what, on Sundays, if I get my whole honeydew list done, I'm feeling pretty good. I'm not feeling good if I don't have my honeydew list done, right? And you guys have all done that before, right? Like, if you have a bunch of stuff that you have to do, when you get it done, you feel good. You have a sense of accomplishment. When you don't get things done, you don't feel great. You're in a slow office, it's not busy, the energy's low, right? Your office gets bustling and it's busy, energy goes up, the day goes by really fast. It's like, that's what we're here for. We're here to help, to serve each other. Going back to B12s, I guess. I know you're here for your B12 today, but we do have a screening available here. Oh, we were over that. Okay, stress survey template. So just to kind of give you an idea, you go to the bit.ly link, you get the stress survey. You always want to have these filled out before you do any type of screening, whether it's B12, massage, pamper event, a lunch and learn. I always have a survey filled out at a lunch and learn. Everyone fills out a survey, and I go over that survey during the lunch and learn. I'll do literally a group day one in a lunch and learn. I tell you what, you want to schedule a lot of people very quickly. Lunch and learns will bring in people faster than any other event. Pamper event, health fair. Because if I get in front of 50 people, I'll get 50% of the room booked. Okay, so in an hour, you can get 25, 30 people scheduled for an exam. So on the stress survey, I'll just get name, number, but really I'm on these middle columns. I want to know about any headaches, neck, mid back, low back, sciatica, leg, any carpal tunnel, problem sleeping, wrist, foot, menstrual, asthma, digestive problems, pain between the shoulders. I want this section filled out right in through here. And then I just put, if you could get rid of one of these concerns, which one would it be? I want to know which one is their chief complaint area so I can hone in on that area. Okay. All right, station 2. The screener should introduce themselves, explain the purpose of the screening, and show the attendees the results. Hi, Gary. It looks like you had headaches for 20 years. That's no good. What I'm going to do is a quick measurement to see if it could possibly be coming from your spine. So this machine measures the electrical activity in the muscles. If your neck isn't functioning properly, we're going to see problems. Do the screening. Okay, we're all done on this computer screen. White is normal, green is mild, blue is moderate, red severe. Gosh, Gary, you're lit up like a Christmas tree. You have severe issues up in your neck here. What we have found is that the number one reason for headaches is actually a neck problem, and there's definitely some issues there. If you could find out what's causing that, would you want to? Okay, that right there. What do you think? What percentage of time do you think someone says they want to find out what's going on? It's like 100%. It's like super high. Okay, who doesn't want to find out what's going on? And you don't know what's going on with them yet. Is it just a muscle issue? Do they have a disc problem? Do they have a nerve problem? Do they you don't know what they have yet? Do they have a hypolordosis? Do they have a degenerative condition? You don't know yet. So, this is why this script could be muscle, bone, nerve, or disc. Don't know, but you have a problem. Whether you're palpating it, seeing it on a scan. Okay. The closer script should focus on scheduling your offer to have the prospective patient come into the office, confirm the attendee's availability, and schedule the evaluation accordingly. Use your standard new patient scheduling dialogue for this. This is covered in detail on TBA's marketing course certification. Station 3, this is where the nurse can do the injection and upsell to anything else on the menu before the injection. Okay. So scale of 1 to 10 so far, how valuable is this? 10, just good stuff? It's really good. Okay, good. I thought you had a question. Yeah, I'm telling you guys, this is get out in your community. Okay. Final thoughts. B12 and breakfast events and scripting are great ways to generate revenue, promote your practice, and communicate effectively with the attendees. Take advantage of the market opportunities and hire a marketer. I'm telling you, a marketer will always pay. Think about it. Let's do the numbers again real quickly. Let's just say you did one event a week. You brought 5 people in, just 5 people. And half of them show. Just 3 come in. Okay. Let's say you have a 60% closing rate, 70% closing rate. So 2 people start care. It's an average care plan of, 5,000. Oh, what is your average care plans? What do you guys, 2,500, 3,000, 4,000, 2,700, 10, 15. You guys do something different over there. Okay. So let's just take 3,000. Let's go low. That's $6,000 a week. That's $24,000 that you've added in a month. That's $320,000 you added in a year. Can you hire a $40,000 marketer? It's just do the numbers, guys. Do the numbers. Heck, if I wanted to hustle, I would actually just go into an office and say marketing. I'll say, hey, you pay me per head, that I bring in. Because I'll bring in so many people, like it's just you'll have to hire staff, but it's a way that you can greatly increase your income and help and serve more people. And they need you guys. They need you guys. They're not going anywhere else. They don't want to go to hell. They don't want to go, to their doctors half the time anymore because there's a lack of it. Would you guys agree there's a lack of trust in the environment now? There's a lack of trust, right? You have to establish trust in the environment. You got to get out there. Remember to use the Doctors for Health and Wellness to get to the decision maker and bridge between stations to effectively schedule appointments. So who is not part of Doctors for Health and Wellness? If you're not a part of it, contact Cindy. It's $100 membership, I believe, for the year. It's in the Bitly link, but you can see Cindy before you leave and you can sign up for that. You'll get a whole onboarding packet and you can now be part of a nonprofit group and get a .org email so that, anytime you're communicating with the public, they're seeing you coming through as a nonprofit. And you're giving your stuff away for free.